Hello students, today we are going to start chapter 2 New Kings and Kingdoms. This is part 2 of our video. We are going to talk about the South Kingdom. The Rashtrakutas are the first one. So they rose to power in the 8th century. The dynasty was founded by Danti Durga. He was the founder of Rashtrakutas dynasty. He and his successors, Krishna I, consolidated their empire in the region of modern Maharashtra. So, what they did, Danti Durga founded the dynasty Rashtrakutas in the 8th century. His successor means next to him, whichever king came, Krishna I, he consolidated their empire. He consolidated Danti Durga empire in the region of modern Maharashtra. Their capital was Malkhed. Malkhed was the capital. The Rashtrakutas got involved in conflicts, means they were fighting with each other against the Pratihars, against the Palas in the north. The Rashtrakutas were fighting with Pratihars and Palas. In the south, they waged wars against the Pallavas. In the south, they had a war with the Pallavas, Pandyas, and Cholas. These three kingdoms were there. Means, of course, every king or kingdom, they want the territory of another king. They want to have another kingdom. So they were fighting with each other. So Rashtrakutas, they fought first with Pratihars and Palas in the north. In the south, they had a war with against the Pallavas, Pandyas, and Cholas. The Rashtrakuta ruler, they patronized, means they were very helpful to Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and Jainism. To these religions, they were very kind and helpful. The Kailash temple is at Ellora, and the rock cut Elephanta caves were built by the Rashtrakutas. So, Kailash temple is at Ellora, and the Elephanta caves. These were built by the Rashtrakutas only. Okay, the spelling of Elephanta is Elephanta, Elephanta caves. Yadavas of Devagiri and Chalukyas of Kalyani. It was established by Bhilani. I am talking about Yadavas of Devagiri. It was established by Bhilana in the 12th century. The Yadavas, they ruled the region between Narmada and Godavari rivers, and they had a flourishing trade. They were good in trade, which made them rich and prosperous. Prosperous means they were well-being. Okay, a lot of money was there with them because they ruled over the kingdom, the region between the river Narmada and river Godavari. It was in the 12th century, the kingdom was established by Bhilana. Alauddin Khalji defeated them. Alauddin Khalji defeated the Yadavas of Devagiri and added them to their kingdom in the 14th century. He added Yadavas of Devagiri in their kingdom in the 14th century. Chalukyas of Kalyani, they were known as the later Chalukyas also. Their king like Vikramanka were famous for building many temples at Ahol, Badami and Patadakal. These were the places where the Chalukya king Vikramanka, he built many temples. Okay, remember his name, Vikramanka. Okay, he built many famous temples at Ahol, Badami and Patadakal. Kakatiyas of Varangal and Hosalas of Davasamudra. Davara Samudra. Hosalas of Davara Samudra and Kakatiyas of Varangal. So, Kakatiyas of Varangal, they ruled over the territories that lay between Godavari and Krishna. Where your Yadavas were ruling, they were also ruling between Narmada and Godavari, but Kakatiyas were ruling from Godavari to Krishna rivers. Their territory was. It was in the 12th and 13th century. Marco Polo, okay, he visited India during the Kakatiyas kingdom. Means he visited the Kakatiyas kingdom. There were followers of Shiva. They used to follow Lord Shiva and patronize Sanskrit and Telugu. Give a lot of financial help to language Sanskrit and Telugu. They want to patronize it. Okay, they want to give a support or help to these two languages. The Sultans of Delhi conquered means they take over the control over the Kakatiya's kingdom in 14th century. The Sultans of Delhi. Hosalas of Devara Samudra. They ruled the region now called Karnataka. Vishnuvardhan was their powerful king. Who was the powerful king of Hosala? Vishnuvardhan. This means their kingdom was also added by the Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate, they added Hosala kingdom into their kingdom. The Pallavas and the Pandyas. The two great Pallava rulers were Mahendravarman I and Narasimhavarman I. Their capital was Kanchipuram. The Pallava kings were patron of art and architecture. There were two great Pallava rulers. The name is Mahendravarman and Narasimhavarman. Capital of Pallavas were Kanchipuram. Pallava king, they did a lot in the art and architecture. Okay, they give financial support to art and architecture. There are temple at Mahabalipuram and the Kailash temple at Kanchi are fine examples of Pallava temple architecture. So Pallava, they built many temples like Rat temple at Mahabalipuram and Kailashnath temple at Kanchi means Kanchipuram are the finest examples of Pallava temple architecture. The Pandyas. You know the Pandyas, their kingdom of Pandya was in the region of Madurai. Where was their Pandya's kingdom? In the region of Madurai. Madurai was the center of learning where they used to learn. But Pandya's kingdom started declining in the 14th century. Cholas built the strongest empire in India between AD 800 to AD 1200. They built a strongest empire. Their capital was Tanjore. The Chola dynasty was founded by Vijayalaya. Okay, he was the founder of Chola dynasty. He ruled the region of the north of river Kaveri. He built the town of Tanjavur and made its capital also, Chola's capital Tanjavur. He was defeated by Rashtrakuta king Krishna III at the Battle of Takolam in AD 949. So what happened? The Chola, it was a powerful empire. Capital was Tanjore and it was founded by Vijayalaya. He ruled over the north of river Kaveri. He built town of Tanjavur and later on made its capital. He was defeated by a Rashtrakuta king Krishna III in the Battle of Takolam in AD 949. It was Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola who revived the empire. These two kings came later on and they again revived the Chola empire. They regained power again. And again they made Cholas one of the greatest power in the South India. Rajaraja, he defeated the Cheras at Tiruvananthapuram, which gave him control over the trade with the Arab countries they were doing on the western coast, COST coast. So what they were doing, it was Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola. They again regained the territory, the empire of the Chola, and made it the greatest power once again. They were defeated at the Cheras at Tiruvananthapuram, which gave them control over the trades with the Arabs. They were doing the trades with the Arabs in the western coast, COST. Once he had control over the Malabar coast, he defeated the Pandyas and took control of the Chola Mandalam coast. So what happened? This Raja, he defeated Pandyas also and took control of the Malabar coast and Chola Mandalam coast. After the death of Raja, his son Rajendra Chola succeeded him. His son became the king. His son Rajendra Chola, he defeated Chalukyas of Kalyani and the Pala ruler of Bengal. So the Rajendra Chola, he defeated Chalukya of Kalyani and Pala ruler of Bengal. He was hailed as Gangai Konda or the conqueror of the Gangas. Means in his names, the people used to applaud a lot. They used to hail the name of the king by Gangai Konda or the conqueror who took over the control over the Ganga region. Rajendra Chola's most daring campaign was in Southeast Asia. His campaign in the Southeast Asia was the most daring one. Took a lot of risk. For centuries, Indian merchants have been trading with Southeast Asia and southern China. Indian ships, they used to pass through Straits of Malacca, which was under the kingdom of Shri Vijaya. When the people used to do, Indian people used to do not trade with the Southeast Asia or southern China, then they have to pass through the Straits of Malacca. They have to pass through this region. So this region was under the control of kingdom of Shri Vijaya. The merchants, means the traders of Shri Vijaya, found ways to keep the Indian merchants out of the trades. That Indians should not come and trade. They keep the Indians out of the trade. These merchants were from Chola kingdom. These merchants who traded with southeast and southern China from the kingdom of Shri Vijaya, they belonged to Chola kingdom. They appealed to Rajendra Chola for help. Rajendra Chola, he sent a huge army and defeated the king Shri Vijaya. Okay, so he keep the Indian merchants away out of the trade. The king merchants of Shri Vijaya, they said that Indian merchants will not trade with Southeast Asia and southern China. So Indian merchants, they went for help to Rajendra Chola. They want help from Rajendra Chola. So they appealed to Rajendra Chola that help us. Rajendra Chola helped them by sending his army, huge army he sent, and he defeated the king Shri Vijaya. Therefore, now the trade was under the control of Rajendra Chola. With Southeast Asia, it was resumed and it was greatly enriching, means improve and enhance quality of trade was going on the Chola kingdom. Administration in the kingdom. Many kings, they took up the titles of Maharajadhiraja, King of Kings, and Tribhuvana, Chakravartin, Lord of Three Worlds. However, they still shared power with their Samantas as well. So many kings, they took up the titles like Maharajadhiraja, King of Kings, and Tribhuvana Chakravartin, Lord of Three Worlds. They still share the power with the Samantas. Okay, they used to share the power with the Samantas. What happened later on? Revenue was collected from peasants, cattle keepers, and artisans. They used to pay the tax, they used to pay the revenue. These revenue were used by the king to maintain their army as well as construction of temples and forts. This money was used to build the army for construction of temples and forts. The people who are appointed for collecting revenue were from very influential families, very rich class families. Even the close relatives of the king held these positions. Do you know Or means General Assembly of a village? Sabha means an assembly of adult men in a Brahmana village. Nagaram means association of traders and merchants. They used to have association in towns that used to call Nagaram. Nadu is the kingdom which was divided into number of provinces, number of states you can see. Those were known as mandalams. And the mandalams further divided into Velanadu and Nadu. Prashasti and land grants. Prashasti, they contain detail about the rulers who want to depict themselves as violent and victorious warriors. Okay, so they want to see which kings were the valiant one and the victorious warriors. So what is the meaning of valiant? Valiant means possessing or showing courage or determination. Victorious warriors who are always winning. So these prashastis were composed by learned Brahmins. Learned Brahmins who already learned a lot. These prashastis were composed by them. The prashastis, they used to have a detail about the rulers who want to depict themselves that they were very courageous. They were victorious warriors. They used to win every kingdom they want to. So prashastis, these were composed by learned Brahmins who know the local languages also. The Brahmins were rewarded by the kings by grant of lands. How the Brahmins were awarded? They were rewarded by the grants of lands were given to them. The grants which were given to the Brahmins, these were recorded on a copper plates, which were given to those who received the lands. So the grants were recorded on the copper plates, and these copper plates were given to those who received the land, to those Brahmins who received the land. One famous Prashasti written in Sanskrit that is founded in Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, describes the exploits of Naga Bhatta. He was a Pratihara king in growing terms. Okay, this Prashasti describes the exploits of Naga Bhatta, how he was exploited. He was a Pratihara king. Uttara Merur inscription. Uttara Merur inscription of the Chola in Tamil Nadu laid down certain rules as to those who could become a member of Sabha. In Uttara Merur inscription, it was in Tamil Nadu, and it is written in it that who can become the member of Sabha. I told you the meaning of Sabha, an assembly of adult men in a Brahmana villages. It was an assembly of adult men. So all those who wish to become the member of the Sabha, they should have their land of their own. Okay, owners of the land from which land revenue is collected. Okay, so whosoever are the members of the Sabha, they should be owners of the land from where the land revenue is being collected. They should have their own homes. Their age should be between 35 to 70 years. They should have a great knowledge of Vedas. They should have well versed in administration matters, and they should be honest as well. If any has been a member for any committee in the last 3 years, if some committee is there, somebody is member of that committee in the last 3 years, he cannot become the member of the another committee. Only you can be member of one committee only. You cannot be member of 2 or 3 committees. Okay, if you are the member of any committee in the last 3 years, you cannot become member again of another committee. If once you have not submitted your accounts, those of his relatives cannot contest the elections. Okay, if you have not submitted the accounts, not paid the taxes on the time, then their relatives also cannot stand for any kind of elections. The laws were clear, and there was very little possibility of a fraud. These laws are very clear, and very little possibility is there of a fraud. Those found guilty were severely punished. Those who were guilty, they were punished. Types of land and taxes. Chola inscription mention various categories of land. Velan Vagai, this was the land of non-Brahmins. Brahmadeya, land gifted to Brahmins. Shala Bhoga, land for maintenance of school. Devadana, Tirunamatukani. Devadana, Tirunamatukani. It was land gifted to temples. Palichachandam. Palichachandam was land donated to Jain institution. Veti, a tax taken in form of forced labor. And Kadamai, land revenue. Here is a case study. We are going to talk about the case study also. Chola. So the territory of South, it was between the river Krishna and Tungbhadra. These were known as South India. It was divided into 3 kingdoms: Cholas, Cherias and Pandyas. Cholas were the earliest one and the most ancient of the South Indian kingdom. Their kingdom was based in Urayur. Their kingdom was basically based. Till the 8th century, their kingdom was very small. But later on in the 9th century, they gained the power. In AD 850, their ruler Vijayalaya, he defeated the Pallava and he snatched the Tanjore from them. The Tanjore became the capital of the Chola kingdom after that. Rajaraja I, AD 985 to AD 1014. The most powerful ruler of Chola dynasty was Rajaraja I. He was one of the greatest kings of South India. He was given the title Raja Raja, the Great. He defeated Chalukyas of Vengai, Pandyas of Madurai, Gangas of Mysore. He took the control of northern Sri Lanka, Maldives Island, Sumatra and other places in Malay Peninsula. He was not only an able administrator but also a great builder. I'm talking about he was not only an able administrator but he was also a great builder. He built a magnificent temple at Tanjore. The temple was named after Raja Rajeshwar after his name. The temple name was Raja Rajeshwar. It was after the name of Raja Rajavan. So it was about Raja Rajavan. Then Rajendra Chola came in, his son, AD 1014 to AD 1044. He was a good ruler, able ruler like his father. He went up to Bengal. He took the title that was given to him as Gangai Konda, the conqueror of Gangas, took over the control of Gangas. He built a new capital called Gangai Konda Cholapuram. The name of the capital was Gangai Konda Cholapuram. His greatest achievement was when he conquest of Salendra Empire, when he gained the Salendra Empire. During his reign, the kingdom was the golden age of Cholas. It was the golden age of Cholas. When he died, the kingdom began to decline. His successors, the kings who came after Rajendra Chola, they were very weak. The kingdom started, means disintegration of the kingdom started. They started breaking up. Administration. The empire was divided into mandalams or provinces. The mandalams were looked after by the governors. So the mandalams was further divided into velanadus. Listen one thing. Empire into mandalams or province. Mandalams, they look after by the governor. Mandalams were further divided into velanadus, and each velanadu consists of number of villages, and the nadu was the smallest unit of the village. Every village had two assemblies. They were known as Ur and Sabha. Ur was general assembly. Sabha was gathering of adult males in Brahmana villages. We have seen that each Brahmdeya was looked after by an assembly or Sabha. So Brahmdeya, they was looked after by an assembly or Sabha of the Brahman lords. The assemblies worked very efficiently, very nicely. The association of traders and merchants formed. The name was Nagarams. They were used to do the administrative functions in the town. There were the inscriptions from Uttara Merur. It provided the detail about how the Sabha was organized. Organization of Sabha. The Sabha, it used to have several committees. Many committees were there. One committee look after irrigation, another garden, another temple. So many committees were there. They were look aftering all such things. Name of those eligible members, means name of those eligible to be members of committees, were written on a small tickets of palm leaves. On palm leaves, the names of the members of the committees were written, those who were eligible. So these tickets, they were put into an earthenware pot, any earthenware pot, from which a young boy was asked to take out the tickets. Any young boy was asked to take the ticket out. One by one, the young boy takes the ticket out for each committee. Land and trade were the chief sources of revenue for the Cholas. Kaveri Pattinam was the main port of Cholas. The Indian merchants, they carry the glassware, cotton goods, brocade, ivory, sandalwood, perfume, and precious stones to rest of the world. The Chola also built many temples. They built many temples also. Most of the temples were built in Dravidian style. The Brideshwara temple of Rajeshwara temple built at Tanjavur, that is Tanjore, by Raja Rajavan. This is the image of Brideshwara temple which is at Tanjavur. And the temples of Gangai Konda Cholapuram. It was built by Rajendra. It is a great example of architectural and sculptural marvels. Chola bronze images are being shown in these temples. They are amongst finest in the world. They are bronze images. They have the bronze image of Nataraja. The image portrays a divine dancer Shiva dancing the dance of death and destruction. Okay, so a bronze statue of Nataraja was there. The image portrays the dancer is Shiva, Lord Shiva, and he is dancing the dance of death and destruction. Chola temples, they were the main centers of the settlements which grew around them. Nuclei means main centers of the settlements which grew around them. Temples were not only a place of worship, but there used to be a hub of economic, social, and cultural life as well. The people used to go to worship also, and economic, social, and cultural life also. It was being an important part. The temples were also center of craft production. Many crafts were produced there. Many specialists worked at the temples, like priests, garland makers, cooks, sweepers, musicians, dancers. These were maintained by temples out of the produce of land assigned to them. So many specialists, they used to work in temple. They live near the temples. Okay, they maintain the temples and they produce the lands produce of land assigned to them. Religion. Hinduism was the most popular religion of all times. Vishnu and Shiva, these two lords were worshipped. Basava founded Lingayata sect. Okay, like Mahayana Buddhism and Hinayana Buddhism, you have learned. Likewise, that Basava was founded Lingyana means Lingayata sect. So Ramanuja and Madhava, they were the greatest teacher who lived during this time. So these teachers, they laid stress on the bhakti against the caste and caste distinctions. So they don't want any discrimination on the basis of caste. Agrarian expansion means agricultural expansion in Tamil region. Agriculture flourished in Tamil region. Temple played a very important role in cultivating the barren land, which is barren means no cultivation was going on. Temples helped in the cultivation of those lands. First, the temples had a lot of money. Second, barren land was cultivated and controlled by the temples. A majority of population, they lived in the villages. Agriculture was the main occupation. Fruits, vegetables, spices were grown in very large quantity, abundant quantity. Irrigation was done with the rainwater tanks. So they used to store the rainwater and do the irrigation with the help of that. Chola, they depend upon rainwater harvesting. They used to store the rainwater and they use the technique of rainwater harvesting in that time. The Cholas, they used to carry out the land survey. The survey was done to fix the rates for land revenue. What should be the rates of the land revenue? The Brahmins were gifted the rent-free lands. These lands were called Brahmadaya. So these were granted rent-free lands. No rent they have to pay. So they were called Brahmadaya. Brahmins, with the help of landless laborers, cleared the jungles. This enabled them to bring more land under cultivation. They bring more and more land over their cultivation. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.